Millions of people across China, Korea, Vietnam, Japan, and other countries around the world will soon be celebrating the Lunar New Year and welcoming in the Year of the Ox as part of an ancient custom that dates back at least 3,400 years. In this episode, we'll look at the Lunar New Year celebration. What is Chinese Lunar New Year? When is it celebrated? Who celebrates Lunar New Year? What are the Lunar New Year traditions in Southeast Asia? My name is Angeline, and this is the Daily Watch. What is Chinese Lunar New Year? The holiday originated with the Chinese lunar calendar, which is why you often hear it referred to as either Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. Note that most countries outside China who celebrate it don't really refer to it as Chinese New Year. In fact, the more accurate terminology is Lunar New Year. The celebration is also called by a variety of names depending on the country where it is celebrated. According to tales and legends, the beginning of the Lunar New Year started with a fight against the mythical beast called Nian, who had the body of a bull and the head of a lion. Towards the end of winter, when there was nothing to eat, Nian would come on the first day of New Year to the villages to eat livestock, crops, and even villagers, especially children. To protect themselves, the villagers would put food in front of their doors at the beginning of every year. It was believed that after Nian ate the food they prepared, it wouldn't attack any more people. Over time, they learned that the ferocious Nian was afraid of three things: the color red, fire, and noise. So when the New Year was about to come, the villagers would hang red lanterns and red spring scrolls on windows and doors. They also used firecrackers to frighten him away. From then on, Nian never came to the village again. According to legend, Nian was eventually captured by Hongjun Laotsu, an ancient Taoist monk, and Nian became Hongjun Laotsu's mount. After Nian was captured, everyone had a big celebration, and the ritual involved in banishing him was repeated the following year. And so the ritual was passed down from generation to generation, and the custom of celebrating New Year with firecrackers, noise, and the color red has persisted to this day. When is Lunar New Year? Unlike the fixed New Year of the Gregorian calendar on the 1st of January, the Lunar New Year is celebrated on a variable date somewhere between late January and early February, determined by the appearance of the new moon. While the Western Gregorian calendar is based on the Earth's orbit around the Sun, China and most Asian countries use the lunar calendar that is based on the moon's orbit around the Earth. The holiday occurs in a 12-year cycle, with each year corresponding to a different animal as a symbol: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. This year, Lunar New Year falls on the 12th of February, and it's the Year of the Ox. Oxes are known for diligence, dependability, strength, and determination. Who celebrates Lunar New Year? The Chinese New Year or Spring Festival in mainland China is not only celebrated by the Chinese. In fact, the Lunar New Year is one of the most widely celebrated festivals across the globe, and perhaps nowhere more so than in Southeast Asia, China's immediate southern neighbor. In the 10 countries that form the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, it is a national holiday in Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Vietnam. It is also observed as a regional holiday in 4 South Thailand provinces bordering on Malaysia. Notably in Vietnam and Indonesia, the Lunar New Year is known by other names. In Vietnam, the Lunar New Year is called Tet Nguyen Dan, a Sino-Vietnamese word meaning feast of the first morning of the first day. The Indonesians call the Lunar New Year Imlek, a Hokkien word translated as lunar calendar. In the United States, the growth of Asian immigrant populations, especially those of Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese descent, has contributed to the increasing population and cultural awareness of Lunar New Year. Many major cities such as New York City, Los Angeles, and San Francisco hold large-scale celebrations. Lunar New Year traditions in Southeast Asia. Red envelopes, firecrackers, red lanterns, lion and dragon dances, and elaborate fireworks displays are a large part of the Lunar New Year spectacle. Let's take a look at some of the local celebrations. In the Philippines, the biggest Lunar New Year celebrations are celebrated in the historical Binondo district of Manila, the oldest Chinatown in the world. The celebrations bring in thousands more people eager to join the festivities, watch lion and dragon dancers, and sample the local fares of food, plastic toys, and local charms lining the streets that promise to usher prosperity into the new year. In Vietnam, Tet, or Tet Nguyen Dan, as it is called, is the most important and popular festival during the year. Celebrations can last from a day up to the entire week. The Vietnamese believe that Tet is meant for getting together with friends and family. Therefore, the first meal of the year plays an important role in Vietnamese culture. Family members will return to their homelands, even if they've been living far away from home for a long time. Tet is a time to enjoy delicious food as a family and to talk about the events of the past year. Normally, the family will cook together and make traditional foods like spring rolls, Vietnamese sausages, bánh tét, or bánh chưng. This is also the time when the elders will hand out red envelopes with money to the children for good luck in exchange for Tet greetings. It is also tradition to pay off your debts before the Lunar New Year for some Vietnamese families. Lunar New Year celebrations in Malaysia, where nearly a quarter of the population are of Chinese descent, are grand and vibrant, while the customary decor, dragon dancing, and family gatherings fill the two-week celebration. A unique practice takes place on the last day of Chap Gomay, which is Hokkien for 15th night. On the 15th night of the Lunar New Year, young women were once said to have thrown mandarin oranges into the sea, with the belief that if her orange was fished out, she'd find a good husband. It is no coincidence this is recognized as the Chinese counterpart to Valentine's Day. The tradition is still continued in Penang today, albeit with less romantic intention. In Singapore, yu sheng, a Cantonese-style raw fish salad, and bak kwa, a salty sweet dried meat product, are the most popular foods associated with the Lunar New Year as edible symbols of abundance and prosperity. The annual Huayi Festival, the Qinggai Parade featuring traditional Chinese performing acts such as lion dances and stilt walkers, and the River Hongbao Carnival, which is the Singaporean equivalent of Spring Festival Gala, are also held. In Indonesia, the city of Singkawang in West Kalimantan celebrates the Lunar New Year with its own take on banishing evil spirits. Celebrations are highlighted with the parade of the ancient art of tatung that takes place at the end of the Lunar New Year festivities. The tatuns perform their supernatural rituals by stabbing themselves with sharp objects. A mediator assists them while communicating with the spirits. Afterwards, the tatuns parade through the city streets as a way to banish evil spirits from Singkawang. Although specific celebrations and traditions vary by country and culture, one thing stays in common: togetherness is a key component of the holiday, and many families come together to start the new year off by preparing and enjoying a meal that will bring them luck, good health, and prosperity. So, if you are celebrating the Lunar New Year, the Daily Watch wishes you Gong Shei Fat Chai, Xin Yi Yan Hao, Chuk Mung Namoy, Selamat Tahun Baru Imlek, and Happy Lunar New Year. That's it for today. If you liked today's video or learned anything new, press the like button. Subscribe and ring the bell to get the latest content from the Daily Watch. See you next time!